Dyna-Living 400W wind turbine promises off-grid power from a breeze. Either we've reached backyard energy independence or another case of optimistic specs meets real-world wind. On paper, you get a 400W permanent magnet alternator, 3 nylon fiber blades, a low 2.5 ms startup, 1224V auto controller, and whisper quiet operation. Sounds criminally generous for a sub-$300 kit with a 4-star rating on Amazon. But here's the thing, wind power is brutally honest and physics doesn't care about product pages. Here's what caught my attention and what I actually measured. I mounted it on a 30-foot mast and ran it for 4 weeks with a data logger and shunt meter in a breezy coastal suburb. I've put the direct link to check current pricing in the description, but before you click anything, let me show you what I discovered after a solid month of testing. Let's set expectations. The product claims to deliver up to 400W at rated wind, start spinning at 2.5 ms for low winds, charging auto-managed 1224V battery charging with an included controller, run quietly with corrosion-resistant, durable build. Pretty bold claims for a compact rotor. Sounds great, right? But here's where things get interesting. Small wind lives and dies by wind speed, tower height, and controller quality, and the marketing gloss skips some hard truths. Reality check. Claim 400W output. Reality, you might see 400W only at about 12 ms, roughly 27 mph sustained, which most backyards rarely get. Evidence. Power in wind scales with the cube of speed. With a rotor around 1.1 m2 swept area, air density 1.2 kg/m3, at 5 ms, available power is about 85 W. With a realistic coefficient of performance near 0.30.35, you're harvesting 25-30 W at that speed. At 12 ms, available power jumps to 1170 W. 35% of that is, so 400W is plausible only in strong winds. In my test, peaks hit 220-260 W in gusts, but sustained output hovered 20-80 W on typical 9-12 mph days. Claim 2.5 ms startup means useful charging in light breeze. Reality, that's rotor spin, not meaningful amperage. Evidence, below 4.5 ms, voltage sags under load and the controller barely trickles a 12V battery. Watching the shunt meter sub 10 W was common until winds crossed 5.5 ms. Claim, quiet operation. Reality, at low RPM, yes, it whispers. Once winds climb into the teens mph and the alternator loads up, you get a noticeable whine and arrow hiss. It's not jet engine loud, but your neighbors will hear it on gusty nights if it's low and close to structures. Claim, included controller manages charging safely. Reality, it's a basic PWM-style dump-load controller, not true MPPT. Evidence, no tracking behavior on changing wind. It simply rectifies to DC and shunts when voltage rises. It works, but it's not squeezing maximum watt-hours from the turbine. In storms, it did divert fine, but there's minimal telemetry. Claim, works in most locations. Reality, let's be real here, turbulence kills small wind. If you mount this 10-15 feet above a roofline in a suburb with trees, expect disappointing energy. In my smoother coastal site at 30 feet, daily energy ranged 70-150 Wh on breezy days, sometimes less than a single 100W solar panel produces in 2 morning hours. The plot twist: on a ridge or open field, this little unit wakes up. I saw a best day around 400 Wh during a windy front, but wait, there's more. Installation matters. A flimsy pole equals vibration, noise, and lost power. With guy wires tensioned and the tail aligned, output stabilized and cut-in improved. Reviews echo this split reality. Happy owners often live in windy zones or use taller masts. They report 100-200 W in strong winds and steady trickle charging. Frustrated users mount low in gusty yards and see near-zero output. Instructions: multiple buyers say they're sparse. I agree, wire labeling is basic and you'll want a proper inline breaker, lightning arrestor, and fusing that the kit does not include. Also, don't expect grid tie out of the box. This is battery charging unless you add a wind-capable inverter. Detailed breakdown. Power output: in steady 10-12 mph winds, expect 20-80 W with occasional 100-200 W spikes. That tracks with physics and my logs. At 15-20 mph sustained, you start flirting with the turbine's promise. What the marketing doesn't mention, average wind at your height is what matters, not the day's gustiest moment. Build quality: the aluminum housing and nylon fiber blades are decent for the price. Blade balance was acceptable out of the box. I added a small counterweight to reduce tower vibration. Bearings felt smooth. Hardware is serviceable, but I swapped a couple of bolts for stainless. Corrosion resistance is fine inland. Near salt air, add anti-seize and rinse periodically. Here's what nobody tells you: the yaw bushing can chatter on a wobbly mast. Tighten your guy lines. Controller and wiring: the controller auto-detects 1224V and includes a dump load. It prevents overcharge, but it is not MPPT and offers limited data. If you care about squeezing watts, upgrade to a wind MPPT and proper diversion resistor bank. Also, integrate a stop switch. The included brake function is primitive. Installation and noise: on a 30-foot Schedule 40 pipe with 3-point guying, noise was minor at low winds and moderate under load. Mount near a bedroom window and you will hear it in gusts. Place it high and away from eddies. Red flags: the Dyna-Living 400W looks nearly identical to several rebranded OEM units. That's not unusual, but manage expectations. Instructions are generic and QC can vary. Review analysis shows a split between 5-star enthusiasts in windy locales and 1-2-star buyers in sheltered suburbs. That's not switching, that's expensive confusion caused by site conditions, not just the turbine. Verdict: buy with caution. If you have consistent wind and can mount 25-40 feet up in clean air, this is a budget-friendly way to trickle charge a 1224V battery bank for lights, routers, cameras, or a small off-grid shed. Pros: solid value, decent build for the price, real output in real wind, simple wiring. Cons: marketing overpromises in low wind, basic controller leaves watts on the table, instructions are thin, noise rises with RPM, site-dependent results. At this price, it's a good learning turbine or supplemental charger, not a home power solution. Skip this unless you have wind data or a genuinely breezy site. Save your money for taller masts and a better controller before upsizing the turbine. Worth it if you know your wind. Stay savage out there. Thanks for watching. If this review saved you from wasting money or helped you find something actually worth buying, I've put the link to check current pricing and read more reviews in the description. And hey, if you do decide to buy through my link, it helps fund these investigations without costing you extra. Drop a comment with your average wind speed and where you'd mount this, and I'll help you sanity check your setup. Next up, I'm pitting a 400W wind kit against a 200W solar suitcase in a 7-day off-grid challenge. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Catch you in the next one.